All right, how's everybody doing today? Welcome back to You Don't Know Ball, and it's only right we switched it up today majorly. No PFF simulated mock, but it is a simulated mock, and I was referred here by a comment, so I appreciate that comment a ton. And as a matter of fact, Pro Football Network here has a mock draft simulator, and people were saying this is better, so you know what? Let's give it a shot and see if we get a better simulated mock. I'm very excited. Hope you guys are too. Let's get right into it. And first off the board, as always, Caleb Williams. No explanation needed, I won't give one. And then number 2, again, Drake May. Again, as I said in the other mocks, as I'll keep saying, Drake May, to me at number 2, not the spot. I think that going Jaden Daniels here is you're getting much better value, or you're probably getting the best value trading down, playing the long game. Because the way the Commanders are built right now, if you take Drake May here at number 2, I don't know. I just don't really see the vision long term. Not a big fan of it. So that's what I got to say about that. Oh, right. And then we're definitely already getting wild here. We got the Patriots. But thank God, because if this was PFF, sure as shit, they would have been taking Marvin Harrison Jr. off the board, fucking themselves and everybody else this early in the mock. So thank God. We're already up to a much better start because the Patriots are addressing their number one need, which they will, quarterback, or trading down if they don't take a QB. Yeah. Just the reality situation is JJ McCarthy at 3. Is it likely? Probably not so much, but is it definitely very possible? Absolutely. And I love that we're getting picks that are actually possible versus picks that are just kind of ridiculous. And then at pick number 4, logically here, if nobody trades up to the Cardinals, Marvin Harrison Jr. But again, we're getting around the time of the year. A lot of smoke. Potentially, if the Cardinals get a big enough haul, they got no problem trading that pick, QBs in a row. Chargers potentially getting Marv. Maybe someone else trades up for Marv. Who knows where Marv is really going to land. But if things went this way and the Cardinals don't trade, logically Marv will be a Cardinal at 4. All right, and then Joe Alt at pick 5 to the Chargers. So it's been a little while since we've seen this one. And as I said, whenever we see it though, me personally, not the biggest fan, because again, as I always say with Joe Alt in these certain situations where he'd have to move to right tackle, I view him as a left tackle. I think we're getting some volatility when we take someone who played so well as left tackle, move them over to right tackle. Just not the biggest fan of it personally. However, it could still work out very well, pay dividends, and it certainly is not a bad value pick. Pick number 6 to the Giants, we got Malik Neighbors off the board. Completely realistic, definitely something the Giants could do, a route they could go down. Now again, I just don't know how I feel about it because the Giants are also one of those teams in such a just funky, messed up situation where you don't have a lot of the team built. You definitely probably don't have your guy at quarterback. I don't know. I feel like the Giants are probably going to find a way to try to go QB. And again, though, the way this mock went and the way things are going right now, taking Leak right here at number 6, again, certainly not bad value. And you're definitely getting an alpha target. I just don't know if then all of a sudden we're starting to get into a situation where contract windows, how they're going to line up. I just feel like you want to get your quarterback figured out before you have the weapons. But you know what? We've seen there's been other teams that have figured out just fine having the weapons beforehand. So if that's the route the Giants want to go, wouldn't be too surprised. And then at number 7 to the Titans, we got Olo Fashanu. And I like this spot. It's funny because it's hard to get used to it now because now we're actually getting logical picks in these slots versus, PFF would be taking a DB right here for whatever reason for the Titans. Jokes aside, it's just very, refreshing. I mean, I'm serious. But to analyze the pick for what it is, this is maybe a little early for Olu, but at the same time, if you're the Titans and you want to shore up that blind side, whereas you're, with Talise, you're going to be playing him on the right side, very likely. It makes plenty of sense that you would take Olu first, and you're getting yourself very pure pass protector, a guy who moves very well for his size, very, very high upside. So if the Titans went this route, I wouldn't be surprised, and I think it'd be great value selection. All right, then at number 8, kind of a curveball here. We got the Falcons taking Rome Odunze. You know what, though? Look, I'll tell you straight up, I don't love the pick because me and my philosophies at this point, if you've been listening for a while, are very much rooted in that success generally comes from the trenches. And albeit, the Falcons already have a really good O-line, but that D-line definitely needs some help. And, you're just banking on one side of the trenches to win you games and a really good offense. Well, you also got to address that defensive side, get those trenches filled. But again, a guy like Rome, you're getting a guy who'd be wide receiver 1 any other year, where you can get him as the third receiver. So you know what? As far as value goes, I'll let it slide on this one because when you put it like that, it makes a lot more sense. All right, and then for the Bears here at pick 9, we got Jared Verse. And this is definitely one of the big 3 that I would really expect for the Bears if they stay at pick 9. Now, again, we're getting to a situation now where, there's a lot of rumors that are the Bears potentially going to move up? Are the Bears potentially going to move down? There's a lot of cards on the table, and we don't have the answers. Ryan Poles has the answers. We're going to have to wait and see what they decide to do. But again, if they sit here and, chill, and they're sitting at pick 9, and Jared Verse is sitting right there, I think he fits very well into this defense. I think you're getting, again, a potential blue chip edge rusher. There'd be nothing wrong with taking Jared Verse right here off the board at pick 9. All right, and it's funny enough, whether we're doing PFF, whether we're doing Pro Football Network, apparently they can agree on one thing, is that Talise Fuaga to the Jets is fantastic, and I agree with him too. It's a three-way agreement. Again, we've seen this so many times recently, so I'm not going to really talk about this one very much. But the Jets, you got your tackles on one-year deals. You need to go something long-term. But besides going long-term, you can also play Talise at guard this year. I feel like I've given this spiel 100 times. I'm going crazy. I'm going to stop giving it now. But you get the point. Talise to the Jets at pick 10, astronomically good value. All right, and somehow again here, this is just crazy. But, funny enough, just as I was knocking them a lot where, they wouldn't take the quarterback and he'd be sitting there, I'm very surprised he's sitting here, but at least this time the Vikings took the quarterback. So we got a definitely very big curveball here. We got the Vikings taking Jaden Daniels. Now, again, I'm not ruling anything out. Is it possible? Yes. Are we headed towards this trajectory at all? No. Especially without a trade up. Anything along those lines, I feel like we would have seen teams trading up. Again, I'm going to assume, just much like the PFF mocks, that these don't have computer trade ups or trade downs incorporated. I hope I get proven wrong soon. That'd be really fun. I hope that the computer does something like that. I don't think it's coded into the software. It is what it is. So the way the mock fell today, again, if Jaden is sitting here at 11 and JJ's and Drake are already off the board, well, logically, taking Jaden at pick 11 is a fantastic value, and there's certainly nothing wrong with it. All right, and then again at pick 12, we got Quinyon Mitchell. We definitely seen this one a lot in the PFF sim mocks. But again, it makes sense because the Broncos definitely really need a DB. They also really, really need a lot of things. But we're also in a situation now where the QBs you feel like you'd be reaching on. Again, if this was the real draft, if this mock could do it, I would believe you'd probably see either a trade down or just BPA, like them taking Brock Bowers off the board, whatever, something along those lines. But I completely understand the Quinyon Mitchell, the Terrion Arnold, whenever they take a corner in the slot, I understand. And then funny enough, we were just talking about him. Sure enough, right here, to the Raiders at pick 13, Terrion Arnold. And I'd like this pick a lot. Again, the Raiders are in a very similar boat, I would say, to the Broncos, where they just have a lot of needs. And really, no matter what you do with this first-round pick, you still definitely have years to go. So just take who you feel is the best player to fit your scheme and your needs. And I think Terrion Arnold, again, he's my cornerback one because, again, if you haven't heard, which I'm sure you have if you listen to any of my other previous ones, I view DeJean as a safety. As high as I am on DeJean, love him. I think he's going to be a fantastic pro. He's more of a safety. So if you're looking for a corner, personally, I'm going Terrion first. So to me, the Raiders are getting fantastic value right there at pick 13. Oh, right. And then we got Dallas Turner to the Saints. And I'm cheesing because I'm a Saints fan. I've said it every time. I got to remind y'all, especially if there's new viewers, I got to let you know so it makes more sense, my analysis. And again, I would literally be doing backflips if this were to happen. I love, again, Dallas Turner, the question might be, how is he going to fit on this defense? You know what? I don't care. I think Dallas Turner will still fit just fine in a 4-3. Obviously, I think you'd prefer him in a 3-4, but I think you're getting someone athletic, lanky, with a deep enough bag and we can put some weight onto him. We don't got to keep him at the weight he's at right now. I think you're getting, again, potential blue chip, just him and Jared Verse, potential blue chip edges, potential 10+ sack guys for a long time, guys getting in the backfield in the run game. I would love to have Dallas Turner in a Saints uniform, and I haven't seen it in a while, so definitely making me smile here seeing it on this simulation mock. Hey, would you look at that? I cannot believe it. The computer can do trades, man. The computer can do trades because we just had the Lions trade up with the Indianapolis Colts here at pick 15, and they're throwing a wild card at us, man. Taking Latu off the board. You know what? I love that, though. For a team like the Lions, if you've been listening to me before, and when I do these mocks, I talk about teams that are just in position to take home run shots, baby. And if you're the Lions, especially after last year, feeling like you really beat yourself, and you really potentially could have won the Super Bowl. Call it for what it is. Lions don't choke that game against the Niners, right? They beat the Chiefs week 1. I know the Super Bowl's a whole different week, but Lions very well could have been Super Bowl champs if they didn't just beat themselves up in the NFC Championship game. So what is my point? The point is, when you're this close and you have a chance to just swing for the fences and to get a potential all-pro, one of the best players in the entire class, will be one of the best players in the entire class if he can just stay healthy. And that's all we're concerned about at this point. And if you get Latu and a trade up and you think you can stay healthy, fitting in this Lions defense who needs another pass rusher, just an absolute money trade. Win for everyone. And I love it here at pick 15. All right, and then we got the Seahawks here at pick 16, taking Brock Bowers off the board. Definitely kind of another wild card here, but I know we've seen this at least once before. And as I said when we saw it last time, I'm not a big fan of it because it's kind of like you're the Seahawks and you have so many other desperate needs on the interior of your offensive line. You got to shore things up, not just for now, but for the future, for Sam Howell, however you're going to go about that. So the reality of the situation is taking Brock Bowers, it's fun, it's electric, but it also could potentially be, long-term with how it lines up with certain contract windows. It might not be the right pick. But again, to look at the bright side, look at the fun side of it. Well, then all of a sudden, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, JSN, Brock Bowers, Kenneth Walker, we're cooking with gas on offense, that's for sure. Oh, and then definitely another wild card here, but I love it. Pick 17 to the Jags, taking another, and we talk about home run shots. A team like the Jags is another prime example, right? Where we're getting close, but we need another, another couple star guys to get ourselves over the hump. And as I always say about Amarius Mims, man, offensive line coach's dream. He just got to be able to stay healthy and stay out there. And again, you're getting a more raw guy. Maybe not starting him right away, maybe working him in. But the ceiling he has, I completely understand why you'd be taking him off the board here at pick 17. And again, you're taking a home run shot. But sometimes with home run shots, you either get a strikeout or you get home run results. And it's only up to, time to see. But I think Amarius Mims could really be one of those big home run guys out of this year's class. All right, and then pick 18 to the Bengals, we got Troy Fautanu. We definitely have seen this one recently in a couple of the PFF sims. But this is one of those ones, like I say, this one's just logical. Love the landing spot for Troy. Makes so much sense for the Bengals and for him. Again, similar situation to the Jets, but not completely the same, but where you got at least one tackle on only a 1-year deal. You got to figure out things for the future. You're also not very sure about the entirety of your interior. So whether you want to play him interior this year, kick him back out, re-sign your tackle next year, tackles, whatever, and then keep him at guard. You do whatever you want. You get my point. I'm rambling. But the bottom line is, you take Troy off the board right here at pick 18, you have a lot of options. And for a team like the Bengals that's already competing, that just needs to keep those trenches shored up to protect Joe Burrow, as we've seen, that's the recipe. You can go to the promised land, maybe not win it yet, but you can get yourself there with just keeping Joey B healthy. So if you're the Bengals, you got to be thinking this is a logical selection here. And then at pick 19, Johnny Newton. I fucking love this pick, man. And as I say, it's a crime because whenever we do the PFF sims, this man's falling down the board to 30 and stuff. Absolutely not. I think you're going to see Johnny Newton, whatever you want to call him, you're going to see him coming off the board earlier than a lot of people expect. And if he were to fall, or not fall, but to be selected by the Rams here at pick 19, absolute money, especially when you just lost Aaron Donald. Nobody's going to replace Aaron Donald, but I'm telling you guys right now, you get John Newton in there next to Kobe Turner and, Byron Young on the outside. This D-line is really starting to come to life again, and you got yourself 3 definite, real pro pass rushers that are very young with a lot of room to grow. So if you're a Rams fan, you'd have to be feeling really happy about this selection right here. All right, and then at pick 20, we got J.C. Latham, and I'm not sure if we've seen this one again recently. I know that we've seen the Steelers taking a lot of tackles. Not sure if JC was one of the ones we've seen recently. But as I say for every time that the Steelers decide to go a line right here, to me, this is the money selection. To me, this is probably what I would do if I was them. And, again, you take JC, you can Broderick Jones him, give him time to rest, give him time to sit, learn, get acclimated. Or with JC, I do believe you could also throw him into that fire week 1, and he will produce. Whether you play him at guard or play him at tackle, again, in the Steelers situation, you're probably going to play him at tackle. But I do personally believe he has that guard versatility as well. I know plenty of you guys disagree with me, and as I always say, we're in this, on that one, we're going to have to just agree to disagree. That's totally fine. However the Steelers want to go about him, we're going to have to see if they ended up taking him, or whatever team ends up taking him, whether you play him guard or tackle. But the bottom line is, you're getting a guy with a really high floor, potential versatility, and a guy who put out great tape for a long time there at Alabama. All right, and definitely a fun little wild card here to the Dolphins at pick 21. We got Brian Thomas Jr. And you know what? Again, I don't hate it because the Dolphins don't really have like tons of needs. Yes, I would very much prefer them, and I would suggest for them to go interior O-line. Like, you could have taken Jackson Powers-Johnson off the board and like really, really felt good about it. But you know what? Taking Brian Thomas Jr., adding another humongous speedster to this offense where, right now, wide receiver 3 or slot, however you want to put it, however, things change, whether it's slot or wide receiver 3, you get my point, it's a little bit different, but their third receiver that's going to be seeing tick is Braxton Berrios. And the way I see it is, again, Braxton is good depth, but I don't know if that's who you want to be, your starting slot when you could have potential, upgrade like Brian Thomas Jr. and who fits in this offense just so well. Give yourself that really big speeding target because now, right, we have Jalen Waddle, we got Tyreek Hill, smaller speedsters. Now all of a sudden we're getting that 6'3", 6'4" height and that blazing speed. I mean, hey, I can't knock it. It would certainly be a lot of fun. And I literally cannot believe it because if you watch my PFF sim mocks, you get the running joke. And if you haven't, well, then you have no clue what I'm talking about. But Nate Wiggins gets taken by the Eagles in literally every fucking simulated mock, and it's driving me crazy. It's also driving me crazy because a lot of you guys will comment how you don't like this pick, and I'm like, I'm sorry, man. Like, I'm not the one making the pick. I don't know what you guys want me to say. But as I say whenever it happens too, like, I'm still in on Nate Wiggins, like, in terms of upside, and a team like the Eagles who needs a DB, I don't have a problem with it. Like, I get, the frame and the weight and all that, right? But at the same time, super athletic guy, he can put on some weight. I'm not going to worry too much about the injury at the combine. Like, you can look at it a lot of ways, but the reality is you're getting a high upside DB. The floor might just not be as high as some of these other DBs, but the ceiling is definitely incredibly high. Oh, right into the Vikings here at pick 23. They get Byron Murphy. I mean, this is just an absolutely money draft for them. Let's review. I mean, you got Jaden Daniels here at pick 11. Then you have to trade up. And you get Byron Murphy at pick 23. This is one where I'm going to have to really disagree with Pro Football Network. I haven't had any complaints so far. Byron falling this far, we might have to beef a little bit here, Pro Football Network. But jokes aside, if he were to fall this far and the Vikings were, able to be the ones that snag him, still needing pass rushers, still needing help on that D-line, I mean, man, oh man, this would just be an absolute cha-ching draft. I mean, this would be, the Vikings might win the draft if this is how it went. Oh, right into the Cowboys, definitely kind of another wild card here, but that's also just because I haven't seen it in any of the PFF sims. But I love this pick, and I definitely could see them going this route on draft night because you're giving yourself now your big 6'4" X target, whereas, and again, before, that would have been like more of the Gallup role. Gallup's just not been able to stay healthy. Things haven't been how they used to be. But you're taking that guy back, giving yourself that size, that catch radius, and athleticism, might I even add, kind of like similar to that CeeDee Lamb athleticism. Like, I'm talking about a guy who can contort his body in the most crazy angles, make these catches. He would fit very well onto this Cowboys offense. You pair him with CeeDee on the slot next to him, things are definitely getting a little scary over there in Dallas. All right, and then to the Packers here at pick 25, we got Kool-Aid McKinstry. Absolutely love this pick, especially because I haven't seen any of the other sims that we've done. And man, oh man, it makes so much sense. Again, as I always say, a lot of people are starting to fall on Kool-Aid. They haven't seen him play in a while. It's just the recency bias. Don't fall for it. Kool-Aid McKinstry, still first-round talent, very versatile corner. You can play him in so many different schemes. And for a team like the Packers, who does really, really need another cornerback, it would make a lot of sense. Again, they need a safety more, but the value you're getting with Kool-Aid versus whatever right you want to go safety, I do believe you're getting better value with Kool-Aid right here. So I love this pick at pick 25. All right, and then at pick 26, we got Chop Robinson to the Buccaneers, and I don't mind this pick at all. Again, I do believe that they have much more pressing needs on the interior, and when a guy like Jackson Powers-Johnson or Graham Barton is sitting right here, I mean, just me personally, I do think that's better value. But again, also, at least you still went trenches. You definitely need a guy off the edge. Getting a guy with such a high upside in Chop Robinson. Again, back to the floor might be a little bit lower, but the ceiling is astronomically high. And if he can hit that ceiling, we're talking about a guy who could push 12, 13 plus sacks for I don't know how long, but for a period of time. And, if you're getting that value here at pick 26, you got to be happy about that as a Bucs fan. And I cannot even believe my eyes here. Because at pick 27, after PFF tortured us for weeks, only taking receivers, one time taking a linebacker, against all the odds. But finally, they decide to go interior in one of our simulated mocks, and they had to go with one of my favorites, Jackson Powers-Johnson. And look, let's just review. If you can go and get Marvin Harrison Jr., and you can go and follow it up with Jackson Powers-Johnson, just like I said about the Vikings, you're one of the teams that won the draft. I don't even care. I don't even need to see the rest of the draft. This is long-term success type plays, and if the Cardinals were able to get their hands on JPJ here at pick 27, it'd just be fantastic value. Again, personally, like I was saying, I'm keep saying it, if he goes this far, I would be surprised. I think he's going to go much more around like this range right here, like 16 to 24. But again, he falls farther, I'll own up to it. I'll admit I was capped, but I just don't think he's going to fall this far. But if he does, absolutely fantastic value here at pick 27. All right, and then at pick 28 to the Buffalo Bills. I'm cheesing at this one because I have not seen it in a sim yet, and I fucking love it, man. I can't contain my excitement. Cooper DeJean to the Bills. It's just money. Like, and again, I don't know if he's going to fall this far because I do believe a lot of teams are going to look at him and say, like, man, that, like, damn, that's really a pro-ready guy, a guy who's definitely has a very, very high floor. Even if the ceiling isn't as high as a lot of these other guys, he got a really high floor. Put a lot of very interesting stuff on tape. Not just playing defense. Like, we're talking about a real athlete here. Guy who can do spin moves, return kicks multiple times. I mean, you're getting a real athlete. Guy who loves football. And more importantly, you desperately need a safety. And if you're the Bills, getting Cooper DeJean at pick 28, the value we're getting here towards this back end of this draft, I mean, these teams are on an absolute money streak. All right, and then look at that, man. Like, this Pro Football Network, like, whoever left that comment, I got to give you a shout out here at the end. I got to go take a look. Because you put me on. This has been so much more fun than the PFF Sims. Because, I mean, look at this. We're getting logical trades where both teams are getting wins, making moves that make sense. The Colts moving down, still getting their guy potentially in Xavier Worthy. And again, with Anthony Richardson's arm, pair him up with Xavier Worthy. Oh, we're talking potential fireworks. I mean, this computer compared to the PFF computer, I know I'm not trying to sit here and talk shit about PFF. They're a great service. They have a lot of really good stuff. Let me be clear, not knocking PFF. But in comparison to how this mock simulator is going versus theirs, oh man, this one's taking the cake without a doubt because this is just so much fun. I love seeing the logic in these picks. Oh, right, and then the Ravens definitely throwing us a curveball here at pick 30 with Kingsley Sumatia. But again, it makes sense no matter how you want to look at it. Are we sitting him for, a year, couple years, let him grow in, and then when contracts are up, is he kicking over, taking that starting tackle role? Is he playing guard right away? Taking either Cleveland spot or a Moave Lavu? I don't know. But the bottom line is that you definitely have a lot of options with him. And again, like I always say, building through the trenches in these early rounds is the success plan, the way I view it. It's not about being flashy. It's about, viewing things long term. And if the Ravens were to make this move, definitely major wild card. Like, major wild card. This is maybe one of the first ones that I really just, I'm not the biggest fan of in this sim mock, but I do understand it, and that's why I understand it. All right, and then at pick 31 to the Niners, we got TJ Tampa. I know, Hunter, if you're watching, I know you love this one. But, jokes aside, and this one is just such a money selection right here. And I do think this is something we could really see the Niners doing. Talking about in terms of length and upside, TJ Tampa's up there with any corner in this draft, right? And he's just another one of those guys, kind of like, what I can't even say like Kool-Aid, where it's just, a lack of, I don't know. With TJ, it's weird. I don't know why TJ's been falling down boards. But the bottom line is, he shouldn't be. I think, again, is still a guy you can easily put in that top 50, top 65 prospects, and he could very easily find himself getting drafted in the first round to a team like the Niners, who doesn't have a lot of needs, definitely have either an O-line need or a DB need, 50-50 it. If they went TJ Tampa with that length, would not be surprised at all. All right, and then to close us out here, it's the running joke with the PFF mocks. Apparently, it's going to be the new one with our Pro Football Network mocks. Got Ladd McConkey to the Chiefs. Is it written? If Ladd McConkey is a Chief at this point? I mean, again, I've been, it's funny though, because they're not ahead. Don't get me wrong, they were not ahead of me. Like, I've been saying Ladd McConkey was a Chief for like 4 months. But you know what? I'm glad that the simulated mocks see it the same way as me. I think Ladd would fit in so well in that Chiefs offense. Especially now, again, we don't know what's going to happen with Rashee Rice. We don't know the situation with Rashee Rice. So you're definitely probably going to take receiver no matter what here. And I have no doubt that if they took Ladd, they'd be very confident they're getting a sure-handed target that they desperately need. That's what they need, is sure hands over there in Kansas City. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the new, Pro Football Network. We switched it up a little bit. Again, we'll probably go back to PFF eventually, switch it back up, switch back and forth. We got the draft coming soon. Just want to keep giving you guys draft content. And then once we get the draft over with, we're going to have so much for you guys afterwards. We can finally actually analyze what happened as opposed to, assuming and guessing and discussing hypotheticals. I can't wait. I know you guys can't wait. And if you want more content, drop a like. Drop a sub. We would love to see you guys back. You have a great rest of your day.